And we're live. Welcome to Coffee Ride with me, DJ Mars Miranda. From Portugal, we have Paco Ochoa, our only Filipino pro cyclist in Europe. And tonight, we have a special show. We're joined by triathlete, OCR athlete, Scott Bikes, and Elite Trainers Ambassador, it's Chloe Jane Ong. What's up, Chloe?
Hi. How are
Hi.
you?
Parang inaanto ka na. Nag-training ka ba kanina? Nag-
Hindi, wait.
Nag-training ka
Ganito
ba kanina
talaga yung,
umaga?
wait. Ganito talaga yung mata ko. Nakadilat na yan.
Para
As in,
nag
wait
parang
lang talaga siya.
para maaga ka nag-training kanina.
No, I ran early with the boys. We did a relatively long run.
What's
We did like
relatively long for you? Anong definition nun?
14 to 15. That's kind of long,
Minutes?
right?
Ako, 14 minutes. Long run na sa akin yun. All
So
right.
yeah,
So we have
that was a
Chloe
very
on
good
the
one.
show today. Chloe, for those who don't know, so everyone knows, like everyone who's part of the triathlon scene knows who you are. They've seen your photos, they've seen you at the races. But I don't think a lot of people know, like, what's your athletic background? Like, have you always been super athletic, like ever since you were like when you were growing up?
Um, I'm not super athletic. I just look athletic because I have broad shoulders. So looks are very deceiving. Um, I started off just going at the gym, just like your regular type. And then gym got really boring, so I joined. My first race was aquathlon, JV aquathlon. Like I knew how to swim. Like you know how you jump in the pool and you do a couple of laps and then you rest and then you do a couple of laps and you rest and then you go. That's it. I can swim. I can join a race. So it's one of those. So that's how I started off. And then I think it was Tita Ivy who lives in the same village as me. She saw me at the race and she invited me to join Trimac. And that's where triathlon began.
Nice. So you were swimming, you were running, were you cycling?
No, I didn't know how to ride a bike, like
Okay.
at all.
All right. So after like I know a lot of people who are discouraged to get into cycling because they don't know how to ride bikes. Like and they're
Yeah,
adults now. So how
yeah.
did you learn to ride a bike as an adult?
Um, See, you know what? You do enough stupid falls, eventually you learn. So like if you see my elbows and my knee and my hand, they're literally like scar tissue on top of scar tissue. Yeah, like going back, I didn't know how to ride a bike. Like I lived
Uh-huh.
a pretty sheltered childhood.
Uh-huh.
One of those ones that live in Binondo. We get driven to school. We get picked up from school. We don't live in a village. Um, so yeah, like my parents didn't know how to ride bikes, so we weren't taught how to ride bikes. That's why I first joined aquathlon because I didn't need to know how to ride a bike until I joined Tarmac, and then they kind of convinced me that look, you got to ride a bike because you can't really do a triathlon if you don't know how to ride a bike. So I was convinced to buy a bike. At that time, it was Cannondale. Like I didn't know if I was gonna last at the sport, so I bought like a really cheap ass bike. It was like 20,000 pesos or something along those lines. I
And
did
when
a
was
lot of.
this? What year was
This
this?
was 2000. Wait, Paco, when did I meet you, Paco? 2015
Uh,
or 14?
14?
14. So I
14.
would have started. I would have started 2013, like mid 2013. My
Okay.
first race was at the end of 2013. I think it was hmm Viking at that time. Tri United 4, I think, or Tri United 3. One of those.
And
So
so you used your Cannondale for your first race. Like you used your
yeah.
20
Well, no,
your
I used it for a few races.
oh,
I think I've used it for a good year.
okay.
Um, I've used it for a couple of duathlon races. And then after that, that's where I met Cecil. T of Unison Bike Shop. And then that's when she sponsored me with Cube.
Okay.
I think
So
it's
how
the
was
following year.
the Cannondale, like your entry level bike for races? How much was it really difficult? Was it impossible to race with, or
Well, you know what? Like, because I didn't know how to ride a bike, so for me, it was the benchmark. Like, I had no basis of comparison. So for me, okay, this is how much I wanted to spend on a bike. So Chloe put up with how heavy that bike is. I didn't want to get like a really expensive light bike because I knew I was going to constantly fall on it. I didn't want to have to worry about my bike. So my Cannondale bike, I think, oh my gosh, like over 20, 30 falls. Like, I feel sorry whoever I sold it to.
you know?
Kawawa talaga. I didn't kawawa. I literally got my money's worth. He didn't.
Pero kaya, you can easily say that like your entry level bike did the job. Like it got the job done. For
Mhm.
everyone, for all
Um,
those who want to get into it. So if
okay,
they're
for those that want to get into triathlon, like, I'd really suggest getting a bike that you don't mind, like, literally throwing, because literally you're gonna fall, right? And you're gonna fall a lot of times. So, like, I think a metal bike would do the job, like something decent enough for you to fall into, but decent enough to race in, because you want to be
okay.
able to use the bike for a couple of races, because you don't want to like use it to learn it, and then on your first race you buy a new bike,
Okay.
because like that's pretty expensive.
Nice.
Um,
So for everyone watching who wants to get into it but who are afraid to spend for your
mhm.
first bike, I guess that just means that you don't have to, no? You
Yeah,
can
you don't have to.
you don't have to
Like,
spend for your first bike.
no, well, again, like mine was a Cannondale, I think CAD 8, like that's how long it was. It was 20 grand. Well, again,
Diba?
20 grand is relative, diba? Like, for some it could be cheap, for some it could
Yeah.
be expensive. But for me, it was good enough to race in for a couple of years until I got lucky enough to get sponsored.
Ayun na yung
So you don't
comments
need.
mo. Sorry.
What? Sorry, I have to
Ayan na
say.
yung comments. Iba yung comments today. Parang,
I don't comment.
ayan, Monching Rom. Ayan, ang social ng guest this week. Grabing kontra sa Jologs na guest last week. Good evening, Sir Monching. How are you tonight? Napapa-English din kami tonight, ha? Papalabang kami.
Hindi nga ako nagsasalita eh.
Relax
Baka
lang eh.
bisto.
Huwag kayo masyado magtanong para hindi kami masyado mag-English dito. Ayan.
Sorry, we can speak Tagalog. We can.
Ayan. James Rosca, that
Hi,
accent.
Jay.
Ayan. Paco, grabe daw yung accent mo. Sabi mo kay
Oo nga eh.
James. Yung mga accent.
Yung sa mga nagtataka, yung accent ni Chloe is native Binondo. Tama ba?
Ganyan daw.
Pag pumunta ka sa yung talagang liblib na lugar ng yan yung accent doon.
Pero para kay Chloe, siya walang accent, tayong lahat yung meron. Diba? Kami yung may accent.
Anong
Ayan.
accent? Walang accent. Oh, gosh.
Ayan na sila. Ang dami naman grabe naman kayo mga comment. Kabanata mo daw ng Espanyol pa ako. Laban. Ayan. Anyway, so we've been...
Hi, Coach Al.
Diba?
Hi, Ben. Sorry, I'm forced to say hello because I told them I'll say hello.
Go,
hi,
say hi to
Ben.
everyone.
Hi, Mon.
Ayun, meron tayong special guest. I think kailangan nating mag-take ng a few moments para
Ito ba siya? Ito siya yung...
Kay Gerald Herradura. Siya yung nakatapos nung Transatlantic Way last week.
Congrats!
So, sa pagsusubaybay ko, parang more than 1 week yung kanyang finishing. Pero 2,100 kilometers, parang grabe yan.
2,100 kilometer ride. Wild. Congrats. Baka Gerald.
Using anong bike? A cyclocross bike?
Entry level cycle. in Italy, divide to
O,
2019.
diba? Kaya talaga yung entry level eh. Hindi naman talaga sa bike yan eh.
Mhm.
It's on your legs really, and like how you want to finish the race. Diba?
Diba?
Kasi
Eto,
sa Pakistan, pare-pareho na lang sila eh.
oo, sa tsaka if you start off with an entry level bike which is probably a bit heavy and a bit hard, it's not, you don't get the full range of gears, you don't get all the tech and whatever. And then when you
When you
get like
shift, yeah.
when you shift to that race bike that you finally
Exactly.
and
You fly.
everything's right, exactly. So it's part na parang weight training yan, di ba? Parang start ka sa mabigat, pag magkaano yung nakuha mo, di mas mabilis ka na.
Actually, I think it was Coach Raison. I think he taught me, like when you train, you use the heavier bike. I think somewhere you can buy like really cheap wheel set. It's deep, so it looks like a racing wheels, but literally it's metal, and it's like a couple of kilos each. So you climb, I don't know, some palok or whatever, and they're so heavy. But when you go to the race and you take them off and you put your racing wheels on, it's just so easy. It's like a walk in the park, yeah.
I think kasama rin siya sa process ng training and racing.
Yeah.
If bigyan mo yung isang tao ng bike na sobrang tricked out na bike na naka-carbon wheels, naka-ceramic speed na bearings and lahat ng bling na pwede mo ilagay sa bike, hindi rin naman niya mapapansin yung difference eh. Kasi wala siyang pagbabasihan. And I think kung nagsisimula ka, anything na nasasakyan mong bike, anything na umaandar, maayos yung gears, maayos yung wheels, at nasasakyan mo higit sa lahat, parang as you grow as a cyclist or as a triathlete, mas marami kang experience na makukuha na pwede mong i-compare doon sa, okay, meron kang idadagdag na maliit na bagay na mafe-feel mo yung difference. Kasi more than yung difference itself, yung feeling nung may malaking difference mentally, malaki rin yung effect niya. So parang, alam mo yung may mga siklista na nagpalit lang ng bar tape, parang gumaan yung bike ko ah. kasi mentally, malaki epekto.
Anong bar tape ba yan? Pengi naman yan. Oh wait, speaking of training, Chloe, we've been indoors for like 6 months now, diba?
Yeah.
What's your how do you train? Are you training for anything? Are you expecting?
No, I'm not training for anything. I think we're all not training for anything.
But are you training? But you're still training.
I'm moving. It's not really considered training. Like alam mo yon?
Okay. So how often and what do you do?
I go by feel. So like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I want to go for a run today. Or like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I think today is a trainer day. So I'll do either on the indoors training or I'll go to Clark and bike, I'll go for a run, I'll walk the dog, I'll go for yoga. It's whatever your body feels like. It's just that I think since I started triathlon, I haven't had like an off year. Like I've just continually racing. So COVID is like a blessing in disguise for me. Because I think my body is shutting down. So I've done a couple of full Ironmans consecutively last year and the year before. And then I got into OCR training as well, like OCR racing. And it's a two different sport. I'm taxing two different systems. It's like exhausting. I think my body took its toll at the end of the year. I was not feeling well, recovery was taking longer than expected. And then COVID hit, so it was perfect. So this past 6 months, I kind of go by feel. Not any structured. You get a lot of invites on Swift, so I just kind of ignore them because I don't want to get. And I mean, when you ride on Swift, you don't want to be left behind, especially if like all boys. And it's like, no, hindi ako papatalo sa boys. No.
competitive talaga, no? So what?
Hindi naman.
So how long How much time do you spend on your trainer? Anong trainer pala gamit mo? So, syempre,
Elite.
Elite,
Yes.
diba? So, what particular model of Elite trainers do you use?
Diretto.
Okay, Diretto. Ang ganda
Yes.
yan, maliit. It's small, right? It's compact, and it's easy to, doesn't take
It's
up
the
much.
only one I've, well, again, it's the only one I've used. So comparatively, I have nothing to compare it with. So for me,
Okay.
it's huge, but it could be like, small to others. I don't know what the others look like.
Pero direct
Yeah.
drive.
It's a direct drive, yes. I definitely recommend a direct drive.
Kasi ako
And
inabutan ako.
it comes with a power meter. So it saves me having to spend a power meter on the bike.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, natawa ako sa comment. May translation po ba?
Yeah.
Si Paco, magta-translate. Wenalyn. Tatranslate namin, ha?
Wena is a good friend of mine and Paco's.
Yun naman pala eh.
Yeah.
Paano
Hi,
kayo?
Wena. Hi, Nazi. Hi, Imo. Hi, Mikey.
Sige, mag-hi ka lang dyan. Nagre-reset yung English namin.
So these are my previous teammates. I think Paco was on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Paco, do you consider yourself part of Trimac?
Dati.
Yeah, exactly. We all came from Trimac. Thanks to Coach Jomac.
Ito parang ilalaglag ka. Friend mo tong si Wenalyn's your friend, right? Friend mo to?
Mm-hmm.
Ayan.
Depende sa tanong niya.
Eto, sige. Madami po bang pogi sa Ironman sa ibang bansa? Baka kaya ka ba race na?
Why do I race overseas?
Guys. Yun, sinagot na niya kung bakit siya abroad nagre-race. Kaya hindi niya siya nakikita dito. Ano to? Ayan, so OCR. OCR is Obstacle Course Racing.
Obstacle Course Racing, yes.
Ayan, for those who don't know, ito yung mga Spartan race.
Otherwise known as Spartan.
Ayan, so can you briefly explain like what you guys have to do? Like how you're saying that it's a totally different thing from triathlon. So ano yung what do you have to do and what's the difference? How much different is it?
It's running and obstacles. If you can run and you have a good cardiovascular endurance, it's an advantage. So for us, coming from triathlon, because I had an endurance for running, then it was an advantage for me. So all I had to do is practice my burpees, Kasi how it works is you kind of run and you do obstacle. You do run, you do your obstacle. So it's different to triathlon because how triathlon, you just zone off, right? Like you focus on the race, and then you zone off and you just do what you need to do. So when you bike, you run, it's just you. When you do your OCR, it's interval training. So you know how you run and your heart rate is up high, and then you have to do the obstacle. You have to somehow parang neutralize your heart rate or get your heart rate down. Because if your heart rate is so high up, you probably won't be able to finish the obstacles. And then after you've done the obstacle, you gotta run, and then do the obstacle again, and then run. So it's a lot of interval work.
But then, cause I go to there's this gym I go to. There are a few cyclists who I work out with, and zero upper body strength. Cause diba? Kasi cyclists yung they can put them on a cal bike, make them do squats or lunges or stuff like that. It's easy, but have them do push-ups or lift whatever. Ang hina ng upper body kasi nga puro lower lang yung ginagamit. So how did you adjust? Did you have that problem also? How did you adjust?
I did have that problem. That's another thing that's different with OCR and cycling or triathlon. Because with triathlon, you need your upper body for swimming, right?
For swimming.
But it's different because with swimming, it's mobility, like you moving, diba?
Yeah.
But with OCR, it's just a lot of brute strength. And it's a lot of grip. Yeah, and it's a lot of grip work. So how I train for it is we have a coach, a strengthening coach. So now during because I'm part of the developmental pool of the Philippine national team, we have a strength training with Coach Ken twice a week. We actually just finished one. He owns a CrossFit gym, so he tailors our workout kind of like CrossFit.
Okay.
Kind of CrossFit workout, yeah.
So puro
Puro,
functional.
puro hit. That's the reason why I post my workouts so that people
Yeah.
can follow and see if you can do it. It's a lot of paano ba to? It's a combination of strength and endurance. So if you look at the workouts that we do, it's a lot of upper body work and then a lot of reps and a lot of sets, but like very limited rest. Because effectively that's what OCR is. It's a lot of strength work. And then after you've done your strength exercise or your strength obstacle, you got to run. So you need to be able to recover and get your heart rate down in that short amount of time. And I think that's what Coach Ken is really good at, designing a program that allows us to really put in the work and then recover in a short amount of time, recover. So
Pero it helps then when you, like if you do workouts like that in between your cycling training, because
exactly,
your
yeah.
recovery time is faster. You can do like you can sprint, you can
Yes.
like your core because I noticed before, like let's say before doing like stuff like that, like those kinds of workouts, like if you stand on the bike, you can only stand for X amount of time, but after like getting your core done and your upper body working, you can stand longer on the bike. You're
Exactly.
not short. You can do your sprints and everything. So tsaka pag cyclist usually ang tendency pag pumayat, payat eh.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
'Di ba? Hindi pag like people who get into cycling to lose weight and they just do cycling, bagsak yung katawan eh.
Mm-hmm.
'Di ba? Kaya maganda singitan mo like
I
insert,
think,
no?
yeah,
'Di
like for a cyclist, it's really good to do strengthening work, not just lower, it's upper as well. I think that's why I look relatively thin because I have a pretty broad shoulders, and then that kind of parang pumapayat tuloy yung tingin sa akin. Not because I'm thin, but because I have broad shoulders, and I have broad shoulders not because of swimming, it's because of OCR training.
But do you train for it at the same time? Like, does it ever happen that
Yes,
it
yes.
overlaps? So
Yes, and that's where
how?
the injury comes in, and that's where the sacrifice comes in. Like, if you look at my triathlon times, they don't go down. It's because again, the interest is kind of mixed, di ba? Parang kailangan ko mamili. Yun na lang yun, bottom line.
Yeah.
It's triathlon. Triathlon is already a handful because you're training for three sports. And then haluan mo pa siya ng OCR. And OCR is really, the running in OCR is trail running. So trail running is really different to road running. Diba?
Yeah. Right.
So you can't say that you train running for triathlon and that's the same as running for OCR because it's different. You do a lot of hills and you need footwork and stuff when you do OCR. Yeah.
Ito, may question from... sorry, go.
Yeah. Hindi, paano niya pinapractice yung obstacles? Kasi, di ba, for every race, meron bang standard na obstacles na sinusunod yung race or parang invento ng organizer?
Hindi naman invento.
Pahirapan lang kita, lagyan ko ng mga patalim.
For starters kasi, they have a set obstacles, right? And these obstacles are available in a few different locations in the Philippines. I think it's pretty huge obstacles, and there's going to be a couple more. Yeah. So what we do generally is you do your strength work outside. Like you go to the gym, you go to a CrossFit gym, you get your strength work done. Because really it's a lot of upper body, a lot of grip work, a lot of leg work. All right. So you do that outside, and then siguro like a few weeks before the race, you'll go to a pretty huge obstacle and try the obstacles, because then all the strength work that you did, you get to apply. And it's just about the fluidity of motion as you go through the obstacles. Yeah.
Ito, question.
Hindi kailangan, not like bike, you got a bike. So with obstacles, hindi mo kailangan mag-obstacle every week.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Good. Wait, question ito, related, from Maximo Rueda. Anong difference ng nutrition ng OCR sa triathlon? Gusto mo translate pa? Kailangan ba translate?
Sige, translate mo.
Paki-translate.
Anong kinakain ng...
OCR, I barely eat anything during an OCR race. Only because my heart rate gets really high. And then I have very difficulty, like it's really difficult to digest whatever I'm eating. So I tend to rely on like fast carbs, like sugar, like gel. But I don't take anything more. Like, you know how when you go on a bike, you eat like bars, and you have like hammer, perps, and stuff like that. But with OCR, like I tend to just eat gummy bears and stuff like that. Like simple sugars that can give you like fast energy source.
Nice. After race ang kainan. Oh yeah. Okay talaga ito si Miss Wenalyn, pwede ba ikaw next guest namin dito? Parang...
delikado yan, delikado.
Eto nga may isa pa siyang comment Si Chloe total package yan. Strong upper and lower, kaya pwede na yan mag-asawa.
Si Wena, malamang.
Si Miss Wenalyn. Okay, masaya
Hi, Buns.
Diba? Ayan.
Hi, Taylor.
Okay, to si Miss Wenalyn Ano to? Ito na. Question that I guess everyone wants us to ask you. Ano ba talaga hanap mo sa sa bike?
Medyo kinabahan si Chloe.
I can't even read it. Asan na ba tayo?
Hindi, ako yung tatanong, Chloe, ano ba talaga yung hinahanap mo sa Sa bike. Sa bike. What do you look...
I get given bikes. So I take what I get given.
No, but what do you look for in what do you want in your bike? Like, what do you expect to get out of your bike? So is it... Hindi, ano yung hinahanap mo nga sa bike? Sabi sa inyo guys, teka, nagre-reset lang ako ng English. Hirap mo naman tanungin. Hindi. So, what makes a good bike? Tama ba? Guys, mag-comment nga kayo ng paano ba i-translate to.
Translation ng
ano bang
translate lang sa native Binondo language.
Ano bang hinahanap mo sa bike?
Weight. If it fits me, I guess. And if the fit is right, I don't, paano ba to? Like, I love my bike. I don't look at bikes any differently. Like, I really think that it should come from you. Like, if you're an athlete, it doesn't matter what bike you ride, right? Like, I mean, you do have your preferences, but whatever bike you ride, it should be fine. Like, I love my Scott. I've always ridden my Scott. I rode a Cube. I prefer the Scott.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about...
Does that answer your question?
I think isang tanong din, how much yung pinipersonalize mo doon sa bike mo? For sure, binibigyan ka ng buong bike, hindi naman yan parang siguro bibigyan ka ng frame tas bahala ka magbuo. So, meron kang bike na sarili na binigay sa'yo. So, how much, aside from the fit, kasi syempre personal yung fit, ano pa yung mga kailangan mong, kunwari, meron kang specific na...
Saddle
talaga is very important. I don't know about you guys, like, are you picky with saddles?
Ako, yes. Yes. Syempre, no? Hassle kaya yung masakit yung puwet mo tapos
Exactly.
4 hours mo 3-4 hours mo titiisin.
Yeah. The saddle, I think it should be personalized. Um, the pedal is pretty standard. Everything's pretty standard, diba? I think I'm really picky with my shoes.
Okay, sige. Natawa ako sa comments eh.
Natawa kayo.
Gusto mo tawagan
Sige.
natin si Wena para...
Wena, gusto mo sumama na lang dito?
Bakit? Ano ba yan? I
Check mo
can't
yung
read it.
Sige, yung comment. Pareho mo pinaba. Paano ka na? Sado.
Ano daw yung sado?
Sado. Ano daw yung sado? Yawa mo.
Have you met Wena, Mark?
Not yet. I want to meet her now.
You should meet her.
I
You
should.
should meet her.
Naiyak. Ang hirap. Ang hirap mag-ano ng straight face pag nababasa mo yung sado eh. O teka, shoes.
Ayan.
Shoes. What shoes? What's your preference? What
Bond. Definitely Bond.
Bond talaga?
Bond.
Because you can mold. Because you can mold
Yeah,
the
you can
insole.
because I have a bunion. Yeah, like I have a bunion, so it really numbs your feet if the shoes are not wide enough.
Okay. Ba't ka
Like I
naghahanap?
do. Huh?
Ba't ka naghahanap ng Shimano na isang araw?
Because someone told me it's wide.
Sobra.
Yeah, because someone told me it's wide. Yeah,
Sobra.
that's why I want to try a different shoe because I've always just used one, and I was
Okay.
told that you have to use a couple, diba? Like para pag basa yung isa, you can use a different shoe, diba? So I need a
Meron ding ano, yung the Shimano that you posted, ano yan?
Yeah,
Super wide. And then,
yeah,
magsasuggest na ako, di ba? Yung S-Works, the S-Works din ang specialized, may wide. And my
Okay.
feet are like, yung pa ako parang frying pan eh. Yun, nakalong araw. Tapos, basta sobrang lapad ng feet ko. So like all my shoes have to be,
Do they come in half sizes?
yes.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yun.
Mars, I think nandito na si Bossol.
Bossol.
I-pass na natin siya dahil
Go.
galing siya sa meeting.
Welcome to the show, Coach Sol. Ayan.
Hi, Coach.
Para,
Baka yung teacher ni...
kamusta ang hearing, Coach? May hearing ba tayo today? Ano bang meron?
Wala. Long story, guys. Nag-echo ba ako?
Ayan. Attorney, kamusta naman po ang kamusta ang courtroom today?
Ayos naman yung hearing, Ayos naman yung hearing ngayon. Panalo sa kaso.
So, nasa City Hall ka ba ngayon or nasa ka ba, Coach?
Nasa City Hall, medyo walang tao eh. Naman, mahirap maging mayor, lalo na sa napakalaking syudad. Parang Herbert.
Naglolo ka. Nawala tuloy ako to kasi si professor.
We were talking about shoes.
Ayan, shoes na pala.
We were talking about S-Works.
S-Works na shoes, yes. May wide siya. So,
Magkano siya, Mars?
SRP ng S-Works na road shoe is mga 27, 28.
Hindi ko na kailangan.
Grabe naman.
Okay na yung shoes ko ngayon. Okay pa pala siya.
Wala lang. Sinasabi ko lang naman. Pero sa gear, are you particular with like colors? Ano ka ba? Are you picky with your kits? May theme kits ka ba? Like because I know people like wear pink on Tuesday and
I try to match it, but no color in particular days. Like today I feel like pink. Okay, fine. Pink jersey, pink headband, pink socks. It just follows, right? So it just happens.
But are you
What
like pero Japorm?
Of course.
Mas mabilis kapag naka-Japorm eh.
Mapagalitan ka ni Rayson kung
on the road, diba?
Diba? Kailangan Japorm. Ayan pa ako, may gusto ko ba?
Sorry, we were talking about shoes. You know what I love? I don't know if you tried it. Insoles. Have you tried insoles?
Yes.
I love insoles.
I know sila Paco have custom-made insoles for their shoes that they just...
Anong insoles?
Yeah.
Secret. Hindi. Hindi, meron na sa, ang tawag dito, meron kasing local na bike fitter na gumagawa dito sa Portugal, na gumagawa ng custom insoles from parang malit na plexiglass or something na hindi siya carbon eh. Pero if meron akong brand na pwedeng masuggest sa mga gustong mag-insole na reliable, tingin ko Solstar.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Kasi
definitely. That's one thing I don't leave a ride without. Like every time I go for a ride, I make sure I grab my shoes that has insoles.
The insoles.
Because it really makes a lot of difference.
It does, it does. That's true.
Kasi yung custom, if papagawa ka ng custom insoles, kailangan meron kang, tingin ko, konting more experience than the average cyclist. Kasi yung custom, babagay lang siya sa paa mo eh. Pero yung position ng insole sa sapatos and yung position niya kapag nagpe-pedal ka, sobrang specific nun doon sa shoes. So if gagamit ka ng custom insoles, gagamitin mo siya sa same shoes na kung saan mo siya finit, and at the same time, yun lang yung position niya. Kaya ako sinasabi na if bibili ka ng custom ng insoles, Solstar yung parang reliable kasi yung position mo every time sa kahit anong shoes, yun parehas.
Pwede mo siya ilipat-lipat.
Yung custom insoles, depende sa shoes na gamit mo kasi yung paa mo iba't ibang shoes, iba't ibang position. Pero pag sinot mo yung Solstar, more or less nasa vicinity ka ng tamang position kasi more of yung angle ng angle. So, minikaniko ni Monica.
Bulol na rin ako eh. Chloe kasi.
Sorry.
Sorry, loko lang. Joke lang.
So in the Philippines, Solstar is available with Unison Bike Shop.
Ayan. How do you get in touch with before we end, how do you get in touch with Unison Bike Shop? Plug nyo na. Facebook. Check out their Facebook page. Ayan, may Facebook page sila.
Yeah. It's like a hidden gem. Para siyang you know Hammer Nutrition?
Yes.
They have
of course.
anti-fatigue caps. I mean, that's literally like drugs. It's like legal drugs.
wala akong alam dyan sa drugs. Wala.
Or what kind of drug?
Wala. Eto, so...
Yung PR kit nila is really something. Definitely yung PR kit ng Hammer, one of the best. Yung isang set na yun.
Eto, Chloe, maiba natin sa So everyone knows you train like crazy and you race and you do your OCR and triathlon. Hanep. Miss Cecil, ayan. www.unisonbikes.com. Ayan. Thank you, Miss Cecil. Hi, Miss Cecil. Thank you.
That's it on Unison. There you go.
Ayan.
Hi, Lito.
Ayan. Hi, Sir Lito.
Yeah.
Ayan.
Sir Lito. Sorry. Sir pala.
Sir Lito, is triathlon not that painful enough that you still have to venture into OCR? Oo nga. Gusto mo bang...
It's exciting. Paano ba to? It's exciting. It's a different animal. Parang
So
ganun.
if-
You get a different type doing it, a different sense of satisfaction.
So if you were to choose, ayan na, triathlon or OCR?
Yes.
I asked that question to Chloe a couple of months ago. Eh.
Loko lang.
Anong community yung mas kakampihan mo?
Abs ba pinag-usapan?
Ayan.
But, Coach Saul is actually a head coach, well, one of our running coach actually in OCR, the pool. So, I can't answer that question. Secret.
Secret lang, okay. Malalaman na.
Full pa lang ako.
Pero at least, diba, Coach, we were talking about how different the training is and ganyan. So,
Yep.
ng triathlon tsaka OCR. Bago ka...
Sabi ko nga definitely magkaiba talaga yung training demands. So, of course, other than that, I'd say, triathlon is definitely endurance focused, no?
Yeah.
But when
Ibig
you look
sabihin
at,
ba nun yung mga OCR walang endurance?
Yako.
well, when you look at
Sabi
different events ng OCR, dami, di ba? May mga ibang walang endurance, right? Kung yung sprinters namin yung ilagay mo sa Spartan races, definitely wala silang endurance for that. But with that said, malaki yung nakita natin all those years, definitely last year nung pumasok ako sa national team, na malaking bagay, for example, like Chloe coming in from triathlon, having that endurance, okay, which is also a requirement of, for example, Spartan races. So there's something also lacking on the triathlon side. So which na-work on nila with the strength and conditioning coach natin. Hi, Sir Ken, Coach Ken, if you're watching, no? So pag tinignan mo yung requirements of that sport, malaking bagay yung strength, especially upper body strength. So yun yung something.
Why are they laughing? I don't even understand.
Hindi, kasi may tanong dito sa difference between OCR and triathlon.
Okay, tapos?
Chloe, ito daw, difference between OCR and triathlon. Galing kay Miss Wena, sino daw mas yummy? Triathlon or OCR? Ang hirap naman Ang hirap naman. Pinapawisan na ako. Ang hirap kumawa Sabi ni Miss, ayan, tapos follow up, Miss Cecil, answer please. Nako.
Ano sabi ni Cecil?
Answer please sa tanong ni Miss Wena.
babawian ka daw
mas
ng bike kapag di mo sinagot.
Sino daw mas yummy? Triathlete or OCR athlete? Sumagot ka daw ng maayos. Sino mas masarap? Sige, wag mo sagutin kung ano pipiliin mo, pero sagutin mo sino mas yummy.
I was instructed to early answer cycling-related questions.
May cycling ka. Sila hindi kami nagtanong, binabasa lang namin yung mga tanong nila. Sino? Flash mo ulit. Sino mas masarap? Sino? So, hindi natin sasagot. Guys, DM na lang. Sige. DM na lang daw niya sa inyo mamaya.
Sige, I will DM you.
DM na lang daw mamaya. Eto, maiba naman tayo. Ano na tata? Ito,
Meet Wena, Bart.
Maiba tayo. So we know you train like for OCR, for triathlon, and you go to the gym and all that. Social life, do you go out? Do you have time to go out? Do you like going out? No, you don't go to like a bar and drink with your friends?
No. Look, I'm like 35. I can't be bothered. Literally, if you train for triathlon and you train for OCR, like literally, like no social life. Like you're in bed at like 8 o'clock and you're up by 5 o'clock doing whatever you need to do. So,
Yan. Yan, commitment siya,
Yan.
guys. Okay,
Nawalan tayo ng 30 viewers.
Oh.
Tatanong daw sa
Kung saan ka pumupunta, ano yung drink of choice mo. Wala, nawala sa lahat eh. Ang gulo. Ano to? Ito na. O sige, coffee shop. We ask this every week. What's your coffee shop? Siyempre, nag-ride out kayo. Then you stop at a coffee shop before you turn around. You do your turnaround.
Really?
Hindi ka pinapagkape ng mga kasama mo mag-ride? Grabe naman yung mga kasama. Maghanap ka na ng ibang kasama. Bakit ka nila hindi pinapakain? Hindi talaga. Sino ba yung mga kasama mo? Sir Raul Flores ka talaga? Walang pakape? Wala. O sige.
Nasisi pa si Coach Raul.
Oo nga eh. So
7-11.
hypothetically speaking, if you had a coffee stop, what would you order at the coffee stop? Drink and
Kape.
ano nga?
Klaseng kape.
Tinutuan ni Monching sumagot eh.
Oo nga eh.
Are you asking me how I take my coffee? Is that it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. A long black.
Long
black.
I'm waiting for the comments to explode. Miss Wena.
Nandiyan si Wena.
Miss Ceci, long black daw. Yari ka ngayon. Tapos,
wait, Americano? There you go.
Oh, yan na. Kung hindi Americano, long black. Hindi naman daw siya, all lives matter daw. Ayan na si Miss Wena, yan tuloy, yung nagko-comment na. Favorite routes? Long black.
Favorite route, did you say?
Yeah, what's your favorite? Yan, once you go black. Ayan na yung comment, sabi sa'yo. Ano yung sagot mo eh. Asking for it eh. Parang sinetop mo sarili mo dun eh.
I didn't think. Sorry. I dug my own grave.
Ayan. Favorite bike routes? Your
Clark. I love Clark.
Why? What? Not yet.
Okay, we should ride soon.
Tara.
They have a designated bike lane.
Okay.
The roads are biker conscious.
Okay.
Biker friendly. Everyone just follows road rules. Cyclists say hello to each other even if they don't know you.
Sorry.
I don't know what to do anyway.
Hindi ako Sorry, Chloe. Clock kasi. Naiiyak na ako eh. Sorry.
Sa Clark nga.
Sa Clark. So how long? Teka lang. How long is the route? Like how long is the route in Clark? So
it depends where you want to ride.
Okay.
So there's this Balakat loop that I do. It's literally 20 kilometers and it's an L-shaped loop.
Okay.
So when I train for Ironman, I just go to that loop and you do that loop consecutive times. And it's pretty windy. So you just go on heavy gear and then you keep doing that loop however many times you want to do it. There's also the loop where you go the wall, if you're familiar, and it goes through Esitex and then it goes through Sacobia, and you can go out to get to Bambantarlac, or you can stay within Clark. So it depends which route you do. There's a 20-kilometer loop, there's 40, there's beyond that. Yeah. So it's really
then outside Clark, you can go out and do
outside Clark, you definitely can. One of my favorite, really, it's from Clark. You get out to Sokovia. You go through Buns, and then you go to O'Donnell. So if you've heard of Camp O'Donnell, inside Camp O'Donnell, it's pretty rolling, and the course is lovely. The view is lovely. Out and back from Clark to O'Donnell, it's about 100, 120.
Nice.
So it's a good solid ride. There's only a certain portion where you're in Makata, I think, and you literally have to battle your way through the tricycles and stuff. But it's very minimal. It's kind of like biking in Antipolo or like New Valley. Yeah, but yeah, definitely north to me.
Favorite race?
If favorite in terms of memorable, or favorite in terms of it's a good race, I had prepared for it.
It's like that race you look forward to do you do the same race every year?
I don't do the same race. I make sure that every race I do is different.
Okay.
I don't want to repeat race because I do races. Well, the only race that I repeat, it's Ironman Subic 70.3.
Okay.
Because I use it to qualify to get into Worlds, and so far that has been successful twice.
Nice.
So that's the only thing that I repeat. Other than that, I like to do different races because it's different experience every race. And you use it to travel overseas, yeah.
So most memorable one na lang, if that's the case.
Most memorable is, I would say, Escape from Alcatraz.
Okay.
Have you heard of that, right?
Parang movie.
Explain. Explain escape.
Sige.
So basically, you're escaping Alcatraz. So, and why it's memorable, it's the only race that I was literally like looking at DNFing. Like, ayoko na. Like 5 minutes into the race, ayoko na, get me out of this. But I couldn't because I was in the middle of the bay. So basically what it is you hop on a barge, the boat goes beside Alcatraz Island, and then you jump off the boat and you swim ashore, or you swim to the bay. It's about 2.4 kilometer swim, but literally it was like not even a swim, it was like fight for life. Because water, seriously, it's shark infested water.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it shark infested?
Yes, it's not reef sharks, it's like freaking great white shark infested waters. And the year I did it last year. The year before that, there was 6 sightings of great white shark. So it's still there. But anyway, so one, it's shark infested waters. Second, it's 12 degrees. So if you're familiar with water temperature, like in the Philippines, it's about 28, 27 degrees. So when it gets a couple of degrees colder, so when it goes 24, then you put on a wetsuit when you want to dive. So 12 degrees, literally, it's like freezing. So I jump in the water and your heart rate is literally here, and you can feel your neck throbbing in cold. As in every breath. You couldn't even breathe properly, diba? Kasi, like, it's just stuck here. And then the current was really strong. Like, literally, when you jump in, like, you see the current moving you. So what happened was, you know how you swim, you sight ahead of you? So when we sighted ahead of us, the exit point, it's like really far off. It's like further there. You sight here, further there. So you literally jump in, and then it's like a drift swim. And with really strong current.
Pagod ako. Grabe yun. Kinuwento pa lang yun, pagod na. Parang, di ba? Hindi, pero wild, just the fact na shark infested. Kagulo yun, ha?
No, the current makes a huge difference. The water temperature, it's also a huge difference.
So
I was getting pulled off the race because I was swimming. Parang meron silang trajectory. So, okay, when you jump in, they have a trajectory. You have to be swimming in that portion. So what happened with me was I was panicking because the water's so cold, I couldn't breathe. So I was like, nagpa-float lang ako. And the water drifted me too far off the course. They were pulling me out of course.
Wow.
And the only thing that made me stay on course was because I freaking paid $800 to register for that.
So
It was a standard race. It was a standard race, and it's $800. So I'm like, freaking hell, I'm getting this medal.
so swim, tapos tatakbo ka pa after, ganon? May ganon pa siya?
Bike muna, syempre.
Talagang triathlon talaga siya, 3...
Yes. And like, if you've been to San Francisco, it's a pretty hilly bike.
Puro hills na.
Hilly, as in Balewala Ocean Adventure, as in, like, we're talking about Bagak levels, like Bataan levels hills, but like in shorter distance.
Wow.
It's crazy. And even the run was hilly.
Pagod na ako. Iniisip ko man, parang grabe yun.
No, but it's you know what? It's a race that I would really recommend to everyone because it's such a memorable race. It's one of those races that you go, okay.
Pagkatapos mo kami takutin.
I'm glad I'm alive. I'm never gonna do that again. Like, ganon siya.
Ito, medyo connected. So, we have a question from Shedrick Canare.
I said.
So, ayan. In triathlon or sports, how do you handle instant situations po where something you didn't prepare for or something unexpected happens?
Sorry, say it again. In triathlon.
In triathlon or I guess OCR, how do you handle instant situations where something you didn't prepare for or something unexpected happens? So like the unexpected, I guess mechanicals or...
Depends what it is.
Okay.
Diba? So, okay, for example, something really stupid happened to me, I think, when I did Florida. Not stupid, but I was biking and my legs were already numb because my shoes were too tight. I was swelling. No, I think it was Langkawi. Because the heat expands your feet.
Expands your feet.
Yeah, it expands your feet. I have a pretty... Sorry?
Which Langkawi?
Langkawi.
I think you did it twice.
No, I only did it
diba?
once. No, I only
Okay,
did it
sorry.
once. I only do Langkawi once. I mean, races once. Yeah, my feet expanded. So it's I like, what would you do when your feet expand and your feet are numb and you couldn't feel a thing, right? So basically, what I had to do was I had to undo my boa. Sorry, my dogs are coming in. I had to undo my boa and let my shoes loosen up a bit, and I was pedaling literally with one foot. So I would loosen right foot, I'll pedal with left. And then once the right has recovered a little bit, I'd lock the right, I'd undo the left. It's a pretty stupid thing to do. But it got me through Langkawi. So basically, to answer the question, you just got to be mindful. Like, you have to have a goal. Like, if my goal is to finish a race, then I'm going to do everything I can to finish the race, right? Like, it might sound stupid that I'm pedaling with one foot, and that's like, what, 110? I think it was 110, 120 kilometers into the race, palang. And I still have so long to go. Like, if I had kept pedaling if I kept what I was doing, siguro, like, I don't know, I probably won't even finish the run. Like, I'd have no blood flow in one leg already.
Yeah.
It'd be so numb, and yeah.
So finish whatever happens.
Yeah.
Kasi last week si Monching pag na-flat, okay na. It means it's not flat. Sabi niya parang kung ma-flat ako, it means that this race isn't for me. So DNF na lang siya.
So, okay, with flaps, do you know, up to now, I don't know how to change a tire. I know that's really bad.
So have you ever got...
Yeah. I've never... I never needed to change a tire. Huh?
Sorry. I remember we talked about this dun sa isang shop ni Miss Cecil.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to change a tire. Oh, yeah. So I don't know how to change a tire, but I never needed to change a tire. So literally, when I go to a race, it's like fingers crossed and a lot of prayers. But one thing I don't ride without is my mariposa. So if you're familiar with mariposa, it's basically. Do you know what it is, Mark?
No, that's what I was gonna ask. What is a mariposa?
Yeah,
sealant spray.
it's like a little cylinder. It's
Okay.
a sealant with an air inside.
Okay.
Canister, parang with
Yeah.
CO2.
Okay.
But ang maganda sa kanya, it's also a sealant. So if you have a
Okay.
hole in your interior or whatever, like it seals the hole and it puts in the air. So I don't need to change the tire. I don't need to know how to change the tire.
So
Hoping that the tire won't be that the slash or the hole of your tubulars won't be that big, that the sealant can seal it, right?
it's for
Yung sa ano?
it's
Dun
for tubulars.
I think I remember you were running tubulars noon eh. We were discussing it eh. Yeah,
But ngayon
so
ang
the
clincher na kasi. So pwede na siya.
yeah.
So
You're now running clincher, so it's easier.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So clarify
But even
lang.
on training, you know what? Even on training rides, when you do long rides, diba
Yeah.
sobrang hassle if you ride in a group and then someone runs a flat,
Yeah.
then you don't have spare tires, you don't have pump, you don't have CO2, diba? At least with the mariposa, like literally fixes everything.
Okay, so clear, ano lang, just to be clear about it. So the mariposa sealant air can thing works on tubulars, clinchers. Does it work on clinchers?
Well, some clinchers, yes.
So okay yan. So if you guys want, like for the viewers lang, in case you want to look for it or look it up and then bring it on your ride. So it works on tubular tires, clincher tires, and this, I guess you don't need it for tubeless tires, no? So ayan, so check it out. Look, when is it available at Unison also?
Yes, it's available at Unison. Also available at Cycles and Brew. Saan pa ba siya, Coach Sol? I'm not sure.
Brick.
Available
Brick
with Kiliroy.
Sa Brick Multisport.
Available
Ayan.
din sa Kili.
So
It just saves a lot of pocket space on your jersey. If you
Yeah.
have like one thing lang.
no, parang it's useful then for ano.
Super
I guess
useful
if-
for races.
And I guess for the people who are just, starting to commute, like biking
Yeah.
to work, cycling to
Yeah.
work,
Yes.
diba? Since they're out every day, baka it would be a smart investment to get one of those mariposa cans and take it with you when you do your morning or like your
Saves time.
Uh,
Saves time.
Ayan, so sabi ni James Rosket also works with tubeless. Ayan. So, ayan guys, if
Hi,
you're
James.
hello James. So ayan, if you
Hi, Ray. Sorry, saying hi to
Go.
people. Go. Okay, sorry, go.
So there, pro tip from Chloe, the mariposa tube. So okay yan. From race to commute to I guess everything in between. It's a good thing to have. Ayan. Ano pa yung tanong? No, wala. Napagod na si Wena. Ano po yung comments ni Wena eh.
Natulog na.
Napagod na. May training ka ba bukas? Eto, tips for beginners. People who want to get into triathlon, to cycling. Any tips?
Sorry. Is it one of the questions? Sorry, I'm reading
No,
the questions. There's a question for you.
I'll go. Love life pa rin. Gising pa ako. Kala nyo, ha? Kala nyo, tulog
No,
na ako. Gising
Mark,
pa ako,
I
guys.
think there's a question. There's a question to you, Mark.
Ano to?
How's the transition
Ayan.
from being a DJ to an athlete?
Hanep, athlete! Thank you for calling me an athlete for the first time ever. Wala. Ano lang, tulog ng maaga, sleep early. Hindi. Hindi naman ako. No, I stopped going out when I'm not working. Yun lang. If I'm not working that night, I'll sleep early and I'll ride the next day. Or I'll go to the gym. Tapos, try not to drink a lot. Hindi, mahirap yung drinking kasi dehydrated ka kahit mga 2 days after eh. So parang when we did that last Odax, lasing ako 2 days before, kala ko okay lang. Cramps to death pagdating ng Odax kasi dehydrated ka eh. So, yun lang.
Yeah, chronic dehydration.
Tapos eat right.
Pero masarap mag-ride like before, like if you drank the night before, masarap mag-ride the day after. Because beer is like literally like liquid carbs.
Pero naman, hindi naman yung lasing na lasing. Hindi naman yung lasing. Lasing na lasing kasi ako nun eh. Galing ako sa work, tapos
Kasi sabi ni Chloe kanina, 8 p.m. pa lang tulog na siya. So baka 6 p.m. umiinom
6
na
p.m.
siya ng
nag-beer
beer.
ka na.
So sakto na yan
Oo.
following day. Ayan, si Wena.
Buhay, gising pa rin.
Masarap mag-ride tapos inom RH after.
Yan. RH pa lang drink of choice. Yan ba?
Yan ang
RH
drink
ba?
of choice ng mga siklista sa atin. Kasi kapag uminom ka daw niyan, Red Horse yan dun sa mga masyadong inosente dyan. Red Horse. Kaya ininom ng mga siklista yan sa atin kasi daw kinabukasan parang sipa ng kabayo yung pajak mo.
Pero ang bango mo niyan after. Nag-ride ako dati, uminom ako the night before, hindi ako makatabi din sa ka-ride ko kasi feeling ko amoy, alam mo yun, amoy club ka, amoy alak ka pa, tapos lumalabas siya pag pinapawisan ka. So parang medyo nakakaya. Ano to? Ayan, pro tips pa. Ayan, pro tip for training for multiple sports. Ayan, since ikaw lang one of the few na makasagot niyan. If, let's say, the triathletes were, the current triathletes who want to get into OCR or maybe like another sport, CrossFit, ganyan. So how do you...
Time management.
Okay.
Literally, time management and prioritization.
So ano yung priority mo sa dalawa? Loko lang. Loko lang. Hindi, sorry. So yan, time management, prioritization. Ano ba?
Because the thing is, the way I look at it, it's okay for the moment, right? The way I look at it is I can complement both.
Okay.
I don't have to choose yet. Maybe there will come a time where I have to choose. But at the moment, if you look at it, my strength work with Coach Ken, it's helping me with my bike and my run. I think since I've got into OCR training, I can lower down my workload in triathlon. Before, Coach Sol Sibayan is actually my cycling coach. But natatawa na naman kayo. Ano na naman sabi ni Wen? Wait lang, I wanna read this. Ano?
Yeah, hindi yan yun eh. May isa pa eh.
Yeah, actually, I do that.
Alam niyo, papareto?
Nagpapa-blind date.
Papareto ba?
Nicely played.
Okay daw eh, na game daw siya. Ang hirap pag nakikita mo yung comments eh.
Kasi ako hindi ko siya nakikita.
Mag-ano kayo mag-comment kayo kasi mamaya may paraffle yung number ni Chloe.
Oo. Ayun.
Pati address.
Grabe to. Dapat sinama na natin dito si Wena para siya na magtanong eh. Di ba? Dapat sinama na natin siya dito. Sorry, so ano yun? Back to the question.
Where were we?
Hindi ko nga...
Yeah, no, okay. Coach Sol Sibayan is actually my cycling coach. So since I was with Coach Sol, I was like, alam mo yun, I can reduce my workload in cycling and running because that's also when I was training for OCR because I was training for OCR. I was doing a lot of strength work, and the strength work in OCR I think complements the cycling and the running. So if you look at it that way, they kind of help each other.
Yes.
When I do OCR training naman, a lot of our work, it's a lot of strength endurance, and a lot of zone 4 and a lot of zone 5 work, a lot of all out intervals with Coach Ken. So you can use that into triathlon as well. Like when you ride up a hill and you need leg power, right? That's when it comes in. So I think they kind of complement each other.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hindi kasi
So
dati,
for the viewers, diba? For the viewers for the triathletes that wanna get into OCR, it is possible, and for the OCR that wanna get into triathlon, it is also possible.
it can
But you
work
just gotta
together.
learn how to, like you just gotta learn how to balance each other. Like if you're OCR athlete and then sanay ka na like zone 4, zone 5 all the time, like you can't do that in cycling, obviously, because when you do
Yeah.
100-kilometer, like, and you do the same mentality you have in OCR, if you put that in cycling, you'll die. Diba?
But I think you're right. Like there's a way of making it work
Yeah.
like together, like make it complementary to each other. Because before I did the same, like, di ba, coach, I did like that CrossFit, like hit training, sabay sa
Exactly.
cycling. The thing is, there was a time that I couldn't ride because of schedule.
Yeah.
It's like I had gigs, but I was at the gym.
Mm.
The quick bursts, the sprints, the
Yes.
short climbs,
Yeah.
it wasn't a problem. But then it's your endurance, that the long rides. So you're good for like usually CrossFit, like the functional fitness workouts are like an hour long, diba? Parang ganyan lang siya,
Mhm.
because it's time based. Like you have a limited time to do it. So what happened to me was I was good for that hour, but if the ride goes on for like more than 2-3 hours, that's when you feel na okay, hirap na ako, like.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
balance it off with like a long ride, a regular long ride, or no, you can't just have like one or the other, diba? So it can
You
work.
just have to be mindful. Yeah, you just have to be mindful. Okay, OCR tayo ngayon. Okay, triathlon tayo ngayon.
Yeah.
Kailangan ganito. It's just tapping into the right energy system and then keeping that in check.
And it's good because we don't realize that like for cyclists, the upper body, we tend to, you know, it gets left behind, your upper body strength and your development, because you're like, if you're cycling, legs lang. So at least if you can do a cross, like another sport or another workout that works your upper, at least may balanced ka, diba?
Yeah.
I think
With
especially for the
Paco.
off-season, laking bagay.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Paco, do you do strengthening work?
Yep, I think now yung with the modern style of training ng mga cyclists, hindi lang siya yung parang okay, sige, ride ka 8 hours for 5 days straight, tapos pahinga ka ng isang araw, tapos smash mo ulit yung next week. Definitely malaking part yung strength and conditioning. I think kahit normal na tao, hindi lang yung cyclist or yung dedicated na triathlete magbe-benefit from strength and conditioning. Of course, ngayon with yung mga roles na ina-assume ng mga riders, mas specific yung type of work na kailangan mo gawin sa race. And syempre sa training din, malaking bagay yung reliable yung katawan mo. Hindi ka may injure sa mga simpleng bagay tulad ng mileage or nang nakaupo ka lang. Malaki siyang tulong, especially kasi yung style of riding ko is more of for sprinting. Yung power is doon mo siya kukunin talaga eh. Hindi naman siya mabubuo sa pag-ride lang ng nagsisprint ka lang all the time. I'm sure technique-wise maganda yung inuulit-ulit mo yung sprint, pero power mas talagang may advantage yung nag-gym ka, may ginagawa kang iba outside ng bike kasi I think yung movement mo sa bike, lalo kung isipin mo 5 hours, 6 hours, nasa bike ka lang. Nasa 1 or 2 positions ka lang na may millimeters na variations ng position eh. So it means na part ng katawan mo, meron kang mamimiss parate kung sa bike ka lang nagre-rely sa strength. So I think yung time mo sa gym, time mo sa weight training or sa wala si Chloe.
No, si Chloe.
Anyway, tuloy ko lang sinabi ko.
Sige, tuloy mo lang.
Basically, doon mo lang siya kukunin. Pwede mo siyang i-compensate doon sa gym.
Yun.
Ayan. Chloe, may tanong ka pa ba?
Buena. For our next guest. Buena. Grabe to si Buena, oh. Pinahirapan tayo today.
Ayan, ako na.
Bigay mo yung link.
Sige.
Buena, sasend ko sa'yo yung link ka.
Magkulitan tayo dito.
Pag-usapan daw natin siya habang wala siya.
Ito na. Chloe's back.
Ayan. Nandiyan si Chloe? Wala pa siya. Ayan.
So our next guest is Buena. Sinend mo yung link. Mukhang. Hi, Miss Kim Mangrobang.
Ayan.
Good evening, Ma'am Kim. Diba? Grabe to. Ubos English ko. Palaban ako.
Sabi ni Mars kanina, marunong ka naman pala mag-Tagalog.
Oo.
Pinakabatay ni Monching eh.
Oo, grabe.
Mukhang bumiyahe pa ng tondo si Chloe.
Oo nga eh.
Ayan.
She's back. Kala ko iniwan mo na kami.
No.
Parang nag-change outfit si Chloe. Nag-change outfit ka, Chloe.
Outfit number 2.
Sorry, what were you talking about? Strengthening.
Gym.
Talking about you.
Gym.
Mga
Grabe.
same. Strength and conditioning, Chloe.
Huh?
Strength and conditioning. Yun pa rin. I think just Paco.
I would personally, I would forgo, like I would dedicate one day for strength and conditioning. It really, like it helps with recovery, staying injury free. It helps with endurance wise, cardiovascular no, but muscle wise, as in ang laking factor niya. But given that you should also allocate parang one day or like one workout for mobility and stretching, I think a lot of cyclists, especially triathletes,
forgo that.
Yeah, because syempre you run out of time with swim, bike, run, diba? Automatic, if you have time, you want to do those 3. But I would really highly recommend doing yoga, doing animal flow, like stretching, even just a simple stretching. It makes a lot of difference.
What's your diet like?
Oh, shit.
No.
I eat whatever. But I was in my best, I felt the best when I went vegan.
Oh, wow.
I was recovery-wise, performance-wise, it does make a lot of difference. It reduces inflammation, so you don't feel as bloated and you recover faster. It does make a lot of difference. You just have to select which ones you eat, and then so I don't go crazy, I choose 1 to 2 meals a week where I eat meat. But other than that, everything is, alam mo yun, parang hindi ka lang masira yung ulo mo. for sanity purposes. But I think when I did Langkawi with Coach Shawl, when I did Port Mac
2
with
years
Coach
ago.
Shawl, yeah, when I did Port Mac with Coach Shawl, I was vegan then.
Wow.
Kaya naman siya because you have your carbs. You have your pasta, you have your rice, you have your bread, and that's your source of energy.
Well, so how often are you strict to that? Like, do you count
Nah.
calories?
Then I never count calories. I have ice cream every day. I have vegan ice cream, so it's like lesser evil. But I like to treat myself, right? I mean, that's the reason why we train in
We
COVID, so we
train.
can eat.
Yes.
Yes.
So
But
you don't,
when I do races, I try to bike fasted, just so that you can lose weight quicker. But when I do
okay.
long rides, then I make sure that like siguro mga 2 hours, 3 hours into the ride, that's when I start eating.
Do you have like a target? May ganun ba pag triathlon? Sorry, may target race weight ka ba? Pag ganyan.
You do have your ideal race weight.
Your ideal race weight?
Yeah. I was closest to my ideal race weight. My ideal is 61. I was
Okay.
62 when I did Langkawi and Fort Mac, with the help of eliminating meat from my diet.
Wow. So
Yeah,
hindi
it does help a lot.
so if you like, I guess you change your diet you've changed your diet every so often. How long do
Yeah.
you need to? How much time do you need for your body to get used to it? Like how long before a race do you start? Do you change stuff like your diet?
Well, see, when I did Langkawi and Fort Mac, I kept it on.
Okay.
Kasi ang hirap, like when you start eating meat, especially like burgers and stuff, right? Like how could you, once you start eating it and you can taste it and smell it, how can you like deny it, diba?
Smell it. Ramdam ko yung smell it. Naamoy ko siya.
How can you
Naamoy
then
ko
give
rin
it
siya.
up, right? So, diba, I try to keep it on. Anong nangyari, I think it was last year that I went off it because I had so many races. Like I went to Australia twice, I went to America twice. Literally, like how can you go to Australia and not have their burgers and not have their steak, right? So I think that's what screwed me over.
Pero solid,
But
vegan.
yeah, like that is a huge factor as well. It helps a lot with recovery.
Do you take like your mga recovery drinks?
I
Does
was
it work for you?
Yeah, I was sponsored with Hammer, so I was lucky enough that I get like vegan whey, which I take like immediately after training.
Okay.
But now that Hammer is gone, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life now. Stop it overseas, I think. I don't know, bahala na.
Yung mga recoverite, ganyan. Recoverite.
Yeah,
May vegan ba na recoverite?
Yeah, there is.
They have a
There is.
vegan, may vegan sila na, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So training wise, I think what really helped me was Coach Sol. Because I was doing OCR and triathlon at the same time, I have to be really mindful with my time management. I think I was confused. My body was confused whether to do OCR or triathlon. I think I was training for Langkawi. I started training for Langkawi siguro 4 months before the race, which is really cutting it short because if you know Langkawi, it's such a hard course. That's when I went to Coach Saul for like rescue me. I need help. That was like my hard training days. I was on the trainer for about 3 to 4 times a week. 3 times during the week and then 1 long ride. And then sometimes if I'm really stubborn, then I'll do back-to-back rides like Saturday and Sunday without telling
weekends. Yeah, nagkakahulihan na. Coach
Yeah.
Sean, para ka talaga nasa City Hall, ano? Para ka talagang town hall meeting, ganun.
What really helped me was heavy gear rides.
Okay.
Like back-to-back heavy gear rides. So
So
like I'll do a Saturday and Sunday ride na naka heavy gear. Like you don't look at your speed, you don't look at anything else. You just put in the mileage and it's heavy gear.
Low cadence work.
Yeah. with Coach
Located
Saul,
tour.
it was a full, diba? So it was dapat heavy load ako. But the longest distance I had to ride with him was 140, which I love, diba? Kasi I don't have to ride like for other coaches or other program. You have to ride like if the race is 180, you have to ride 200. Like I don't have the patience to ride 200.
Grabe yun.
Yeah, so I'll do 140, but back to back, but heavy gear. You know, I have those rides with Coach Saul.
So talagang pro tip is get a coach, no?
Yeah, definitely.
If you wanna get into like like triathlon or like the sports, it's ideal to get a
Kailangan
coach.
beginner pa lang. Yeah, beginner pa lang, get a coach na, so at least you're guided. Because
And you
otherwise,
get used to like at least you get used to a structured program, diba?
you remove all the guesswork.
Yeah.
Bakit si Paco?
Ay, ganda ng comments today. Hi, Wana. Parang gusto na kita maging best friend. Oh, nawala tuloy si Chloe.
Umalis tuloy si Chloe.
Nagalit tuloy. Ayan, hala, nawala na naman. Ayan. From Vincent Corpus of, itong si Vince from Team Endurance Lab din to. Coach also watches over your recovery. So, it's not just your training program, but the recovery. Diba?
Very important, very important. That's where you adapt. Okay? May inquiry ako this morning. He asked me, I asked, for example, what's your typical schedule, training schedule? Okay? And ang ano doon is, parang ayaw niya mag-rest day because parang pakiramdam niya, he's gonna lose fitness. But actually, it's kind of opposite. If you train consistently, okay, that rest day is very important because that's where your body recovers, adapts from the work that you've done, and then you definitely can bounce back better. But of course, kung magkakasunod yung recovery days mo, you get the training naman. So you have to, be strategic of where you're gonna place your rest days or adaptation days, as we call it.
I have a question to Paco. Like, what's your training like, Paco?
Secret yun.
Secret training!
Hindi, I think the usual na meron kang days na endurance ride lang na wala kang titignan kung hindi yung time mo sa saddle. Kasi definitely sa mga races na mangyayari, dapat sana, hopefully this year, if not next season, yung races na mangyayari is not really about yung paano ba yung specific na power. Kasi wala namang race na consistent na flat tapos meron ka lang mini-maintain na power unless merong long climb tapos may sarili kang power na sinusundan. Definitely papatong kayo ng 3 or more hours sa bike. So if hindi ka sanay sa 3 or more hours sa bike for ilang days consistently, mahirapan ka talaga mag-adapt. Na yun yung parang feeling ng mga ibang siklista or mga triathlete na yung napahinga ng mga ilang linggo tapos babalik sa bike tapos magugulat sila after 2 hours, iba na yung feeling nila, parang sobrang down na, sobrang pagod. Kasi nalulose mo yung oras, yung mileage eh. So definitely merong endurance rides, usually 5-6 hours. Ito usually yung mga climbing days, at least nasa 2,000.
Nagsustop
Yeah,
kayo?
yeah, yung nagsustop. Dito ko nga natutunan, like nung, I think si Bubbles yung guest nung nakwento ko to na nagulat ako kasi sa mga stopover na ginagawa namin, kasama ko mga pro cyclists na may mga World Tour riders, may mga Continental riders. Parang ang ina-expect ko, sobrang strict nila sa mga stopover na okay, 5 minutes kung magkakape ka, isang shot, tas go.
Yeah.
Pero nagulat ako, nagtanggal ng helmet, umorder ng croissant na may chocolate, tapos cappuccino, tapos kwentuhan, sobrang relax. Kasi I think part ng pagiging professional cyclist is yung acknowledgement na trabaho siya kahit papano, kahit ano mangyari. Kasi isipin mo, magto 2.5 hours ka, 3 hours, tapos magpapahinga ka halfway. Meron ka pang 3 hours ulit. So, malaking impact mentally yung nagsistop kayo, nagkukwentuhan. Kung gusto mo ng cappuccino, order ka or ng long black. So, di ba? Yun yung
Wala ulit.
Yun yung mga wala ulit. Siyempre. So yun, definitely yung endurance rides malaking part ng training namin. And yung mga specific days, usually shorter pero mas specific. May mga climbs dito. Yun yung kagandahan dito sa lugar na kung nasan kami, parang lahat ng klaseng climbs na maisip mo, meron. So if kailangan mo ng 20 minutes effort, 30 minutes effort, 1 minute na steep, 5 minutes na gradual, 6 minutes na ganito, parang mapupuntahan mo lahat within 30 minutes na ride. So definitely if meron kang specific na work, magagawa mo. Walang ang mahirap nga actually hanapin dito is yung flat. Kasi ang tawag nila sa parang Iberian flat. So pag napansin mo yung mga flat stages ng Vuelta or ng Tour of Portugal, hindi siya flat. Spanish flat. Portuguese flat, yun yung tawag nila. Kasi yung mga stages na sinasabi nilang flat, nasa 1,800 meters of climbing pa rin yung total. So hindi siya flat. Ang flat, dito pag sinabing flat less than 1,000, yun na yung super flat. Parang meron tayong may nag-comment na naman.
May. Grabe.
sakto sa balik ni Chloe yung comment ni Wen. Sabi ko kasi, yung nagkakape, pwedeng mag-cappuccino kung gusto mo mag-cappuccino, or if gusto mo mag-long black, pwede. Sabi ni Wena, nagising daw siya sa long black. Pinangalanan na ba?
Nandiyan pa pala si Wena. Naghihintay.
Oo nga eh.
Hindi ka ata titigilan ni Wena, Chloe. Hanggang sabihin mo.
Run kami.
Wait.
Run tayo, Wena.
Ayan, 9:30 na guys. Teka lang, last
na.
question for Chloe. After this pandemic is over, what is the race that you're looking forward to? Like, what's the first race that you're gonna sign up for?
Ironman Port Macquarie. So I've done this race.
Okay.
It's the first race that I'm gonna do again, only because I miss home.
Nice. Very nice.
In
Sydney. Ayun. Okay, guys. Ikaw, coach.
Yep.
Hindi, okay ka na dyan. Wala namang quarantine dyan. Pwede kayo mag-fly dyan. Parang normal sa'yo.
Almost back to normal na dito. Yeah.
Diba? Ayan, before we go, thank you guys Chloe, thank you for joining us today. That was fun. Wena, thank you for joining us also, I guess.
Thank you, Wena.
Thank you, Wena. Wait, before we go one round, Coach, can you start with you? May mga papasalamatan ba kayo? People you want to thank? Before you unfreeze? Tama, nag-freeze tuloy si Coach. Ako, ikaw na lang mauna. May papasalamatan ko.
Yeah, of course. Thank you kay Chloe na nandito siya. I'm sure maraming nagtataka kung ano yung mga ginagawang secret training ni Chloe at yung mga nutrition niya at kung paano niya ginagawa yung OCR nakasabay ng triathlon. So, at least ngayon meron tayong some sort of idea kung ano yung ginagawa niya. And yeah, thank you sa mga nakikinig. Wena, susunod ka. Kapag ikaw yung
Ikaw na yung guest namin. At si Chloe magtatanong sa'yo.
Thank you sa lahat ng nag-support. As always, thank you sa lahat ng makikinig. Ayan, nawala na siya. Umalis na si Sol.
Oo nga, anyway.
Ayan, of course, thank you sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa show. I'm sure maraming tao yung sana at least nagiging useful yung existence ng show na to sa mga taong nagtatanong kung anong pwedeng gawin, paano gawin, basta related to cycling, etc. So, thank you sa lahat.
Chloe, are there? I'm sure you have a lot of people to thank.
For having me here. It's a very very good thing that you've created this show, for people that have a lot of questions. I want to thank the sponsors, Unison Bike Shop, Dance for supporting me, with bike, trainer, with everything. And then just all friends and relatives that, private message me and stuff, showing their words of encouragement and everything. So, yeah.
Yun yung lahat ng papasalamatan mo. Ang dami ng papasalamatan. Sige, pwede naman sabihin lahat. Polar Singapore.
They know that I'm grateful for them.
Okay.
Polar Singapore.
Yung long black daw, papasalamatan daw ba yun?
Sa next show, papakilala na niya. Papakilala na daw niya sa next show. Pag nag-guest siya ulit, may papakilala na siya sa atin. Ayun. Okay, Chloe, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Ako naman, Specialized Philippines, Specialized Southeast Asia, Nike Philippines, Rudy Project. Thanks, guys. This has been Coffee Ride. I'll see you next week.